Tonight feels like a turning point in Foxboro, and you're going to feel it. A quiet move in the backfield could change the entire third down dynamic. On defense, a duo many people underestimated just faced down an explosive offense and left a message. The offense, a connection that was only a promise yesterday, just started to look like a season-shaping partnership. And in the middle of it all, a tough blow scrambles the plan, but also opens the door to answers. Who do you trust to take the responsibility now? You won't believe what we've got today. So settle in, hit like, and let's dive straight into the news. The urgency hit hard in Foxboro. Antonio Gibson's serious knee injury blew a hole in third down plans and on kickoff returns, and the league clock is already ticking toward the No. 4 trade deadline at 4 p.m. ET. While some rivals stall, New England is combing the market for a piece that can steady the plan without changing the offense's identity. There's a discrete target with a clear tactical fit, a light contract, and most importantly, usage signals that point to availability. A player who won't need a long on-ramp, who has produced as a receiver out of the backfield, and who still brings value on special teams. The clue's been dropped. The name, logic, and impact come next, with one detail that could speed up everything. This profile has a name, and the timing is perfect. In Cleveland, Jerome has seen his snap share slide in recent weeks, and because of it, he's squarely on the Boston media's radar as a viable target. The excitement is straightforward. He runs checkdowns, angle and flat routes, protects the QB, has a returner's resume, and doesn't force a rewrite of Ramondre Stevenson's role. There's context behind the availability signal, rookie Quinton Judkin's rise to the top of the depth chart, and usage for fellow rookie Dylan Sampson. When a useful veteran watches his snaps shrink behind two rookies, phones tend to ring. The contract helps a lot. In May, Ford agreed to cut his 2025 salary to $1.75 million, a number that aligns with how the Patriots handle the position: lean costs, versatility, and flexibility to maneuver in 2026. A low cap hit means room to address other needs, especially with the offensive line requiring constant care as the season grinds on. In practice, it's a low-risk bet, particularly if talks center on a conditional package. It's the kind of deal where the return justifies the investment, even if the role is complementary, because the technical fit solves an injury-created urgency and keeps the offensive plan intact. On the field, the idea is simple. Stevenson remains the early down hammer, rookie Trevion Henderson continues to develop, and Ford steps in to command third downs, protect the quarterback, serve as the safety valve on checkdowns, and compete for kickoff return snaps, the phase where Gibson made a difference. In 2 RB packages, New England forces nickel, stresses linebackers, and creates option matchups against safeties. No pyrotechnics. Patriots football built to produce from day one. What would it cost? Based on recent precedents for backs in similar scenarios, the editorial estimate is a conditional 6th-round pick tied to snap/production with an escalator to a 5th if he hits benchmarks. Cleveland monetizes a squeezed asset. New England limits risk and fills a need without touching 2026. And the status today? Active monitoring, clear football and financial logic, and no public sign of a formal offer. The twin accelerants are obvious: the injury that scrambled the plan and the approaching deadline. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. Something different is happening with this defense. The plan against the Buffalo Bills wasn't just a strategic win, it was a statement. While most teams back off against Josh Allen and that explosive attack, the New England Patriots zagged. They trusted their cornerbacks, played man-to-man, and won. The results showed exactly what Mike Vrabel and defensive play caller Zach Kuhr are building: a secondary that commands respect and flips games. Christian Gonzalez returned from injury as if he'd never left. He played all 68 defensive snaps, and when the team needed it most, kept his cool. 2 clutch plays in the fourth quarter. 2 straight pass breakups forced the Bills to settle for a game-tying field goal instead of taking the lead. On the sideline, the confidence was obvious. After the game, Gonzalez said, "We pride ourselves on it. We want to play man. That's what real corners do." Carlton and I look for the challenge. It's fun, and it's how we show who we are. Carlton Davis, a free agent addition, justified the investment. From training camp on, the veteran talked up this duo's potential, and on Sunday night it materialized. He knew playing alongside Gonzalez could be special, but what we saw was instant chemistry. "During camp, I felt it would be everything I imagined," Davis said. "He's a ridiculous athlete. I just had to do my part. He'd do his, and together we'd be one of the best tandems in the league." They didn't do it alone. Marcus Jones, the group's Swiss Army knife, completed the triangle. In the slot, against bigger receivers, Jones was all instinct and burst. In the second half, he broke up a third down throw and later undercut an in-breaker with post-safety help over the top to intercept Josh Allen in the end zone. Gonzalez summed it up: "No one here is surprised. We see it at practice every day. He's a playmaker. When it shows up in primetime, it just proves what we already know. That mentality, meeting the best without blinking, is what separates a team that merely competes from a team that truly believes. Vrabel made it clear during the week, we want them to feel the discomfort of facing our defense, and they felt it. Buffalo walked off the field acknowledging they'd faced the most aggressive corner group of their season. Now at 3-2, the Patriots earned something even more valuable than a result: identity. The defense is regaining the personality that defined the glory years. Gonzalez and Davis are becoming the kind of duo that forces opponents to change their game plans, and Marcus Jones adds the unpredictability every coordinator dreams of. The message to the NFL is clear, and the best part is the group itself knows there's still room to grow. It can be good, but we gotta grow on it, Gonzalez said. When a player that young talks growth after a performance like that, you get a sense of this group's ambition. The Patriots secondary isn't just solid, it's the heartbeat of Foxboro's new defensive mindset, and the impact of that hasn't even started to be felt. There's something special brewing in Foxboro. That 23-20 win over the Buffalo Bills wasn't just a result, it was the birth of a partnership that could redefine the Patriots offense. Rookie Drake May and veteran Stefon Diggs showed the entire country their connection is more than talent, it's chemistry, it's trust, the kind of bond that can change a season's arc. And the best part, it surfaced on the toughest stage, prime time, against Diggs' former team, with all the pressure in the world. The storyline could have come out of a movie. The Diggs revenge game, as the American media called it, turned into a showcase. 10 catches, 146 yards, and every route felt like a message to Buffalo: you let this happen. What fascinated most, though, was May's poise and maturity. He completed 22 of 30 passes, led 5 scoring drives, and shined when it mattered. On the final march, with the game tied, he slipped away from Daquan Jones and found Diggs for 12 yards to set up the winner. Andy Borregales' clutch kick existed because that throw did, and because the trust between the two was already cemented. After the game, May didn't hide the emotion. It's storybook, the rookie said. First game back here in prime time, and he showed just how much he loves the game. He's got plenty left in the tank, and it's good he's on our side. Simple words, but the weight of someone beginning to understand what it means to lead the New England Patriots. Diggs returned the compliment with the perspective of someone who's seen everything in the NFL. It was electric. I saw a young quarterback take a step forward. They did a lot of Josh Allen comparisons all week, and that's a heavy comparison. But at the end of the day, Drake May has to be Drake May, and tonight he was that, a leader. This bond is more than symbolic. It's a turning point. The franchise spent recent seasons searching for a QB who inspires confidence and a tone-setting target. Suddenly, both are on the same page against a division rival. May's distribution and Diggs' coverage IQ are creating an attack that's more fluid, less predictable, and a lot more dangerous. For fans, watching Diggs celebrate, engage, and ignite his teammates brought an energy Foxboro hadn't felt in a while. It wasn't just a win, it was a message to the league. The Patriots once again have an offense that excites. More importantly, they believe again. Beginning of a beautiful friendship, one reporter wrote, quoting Casablanca. That's exactly it. May and Diggs aren't just building chemistry, they're reigniting a flame that seemed dim for years. If they sustain this climb, the AFC may start losing sleep, because the youth and experience combo they flashed in Buffalo isn't an accident. It's the start of something big. It was a tough blow, and maybe inevitable. Antonio Gibson, one of the pillars of New England's backfield depth, is out for the season with a torn ACL. The news, confirmed by Ian Rappaport the day after the win over the Bills, hit the locker room like a bomb. Gibson had been critical in multiple roles, running between the tackles, catching short passes, and most of all, leading the kickoff return unit, the very spot where fate turned cruel. In the second quarter, right after a game-tying field goal, he took a direct shot to the leg and went down. The ball popped loose, and with it, a piece of the offense's balance. The diagnosis came quickly. An MRI confirmed a full ligament tear and shut down the number 24's season. A huge blow for new head coach Mike Vrabel, who is using Gibson as a pressure release for rookie Drake May and as a surprise element in speed packages. In 2024, Gibson logged 458 yards on 120 carries and 23 receptions for 206 yards, solid numbers. But what stood out most was his situational impact. The 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against the Miami Dolphins in Week 2 was exactly the kind of spark he brought to the roster. The loss forces a change. Ramondre Stevenson assumes the primary load as the engine of the ground game. And rookie Trevion Henderson, the national title captain from Ohio State, gets a bigger runway to show why he was such a coveted draft pick. Henderson has the pedigree, 3,761 rushing yards and 42 rushing touchdowns in college. But now he'll learn the true weight of the NFL. And Vrabel, a lifelong advocate of meritocracy, will put the kid to a real test. There's a broader concern too: depth. Lan Larson is already on injured reserve with a foot issue, leaving the team with only 2 active options in the RB rotation. That's why the rumor mill is churning. Jerome Ford in particular is emerging as an ideal replacement. The technical fit makes sense and the price is manageable, but there's an emotional layer to all of this. The sting of watching a dedicated player, who finally seemed to have found his rhythm again, go down at this point in the season. The fan base felt it. Social media flooded with support, everything from "Get well soon, Gibby" to "You'll come back stronger." Inside the building, the response was immediate. Total focus on maintaining the standard, honoring the absence, and keeping the offense's evolution on track. Vrabel put it plainly at the podium. It's a tough loss, but no one here is going to use it as an excuse. It's part of the game. Now it's the next man's turn to prove he's ready. That's the essence of the Patriots. Don't lament, respond. And while Gibson begins the long recovery process, the franchise is already moving to keep the pace from dropping. Because in Foxboro, the motto is the same: no one replaces the fighting spirit. We just carry it forward. So that's where we are. Foxboro woke up different. The search for a new RB is accelerating with a viable target on the table. The secondary has embraced an aggressive identity. The rookie-veteran connection reignited the offense, and Gibson's injury demands immediate answers without lowering the standard. What would you do today? Sign off on a conditional pick for a backfield receiver returner, or bet on internal development? Drop your take and join the debate. Is this defense already top 5? Hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share with a friend. More tomorrow. The season is just getting started.